Why does Damascus steel have these patterns? Hey engineering moms! Today I'm going to show you what lies behind one of the most beautiful and mysterious creations in metallurgy, Damascus steel. You've probably seen knives, swords, and even jewelry with those wavy and intricate patterns that seem to have a life of their own. But after all, how are these patterns made and why are they so valued? But first, what exactly is Damascus steel and where does it come from? The history of Damascus steel is as rich as its patterns. The name Damascus refers to the city of Damascus in Syria, which was an important commercial center where these blades were sold and admired. However, the original steel was not manufactured there. In fact, it came from India and Sri Lanka in the form of an ingot called ruts. This rut steel was unique, with a special microstructure of carbide bands that gave it a legendary combination of hardness, edge retention, and flexibility. Swords made from this material were famous for being incredibly sharp, durable, and yes, for having subtle flowing patterns that appeared on the surface when polished and treated. Unfortunately, the exact method of producing rut steel, the true Damascus steel, is considered a lost art. It is believed that the process, which involved melting iron ores with charcoal in sealed crucibles under very specific conditions and for a long period, depended on ores with particular compositions that have been depleted or on forging techniques that were passed down orally that were forgotten over time. Around the 18th century, the production of wood steel ceased, and with it, the secret behind those legendary blades was lost. But if the original process was lost, how come so many knives and swords today use Damascus steel? That's an excellent question. What we call Damascus steel today, with its visible and distinct patterns, is most of the time what we technically know as pattern welded steel. It's a different technique from historical wood steel, but it manages to replicate and even surpass the aesthetic beauty of the patterns, combining different types of steel to create material with unique properties. So, how is this pattern welded steel made to create designs? The process starts with the selection of two or more types of steel with slightly different characteristics. For example, high carbon steel, which darkens more, and low carbon steel, or steel with nickel, which tends to stay lighter after treatment. These pieces of steel are stacked in alternating layers like a metal sandwich. Imagine you're assembling a lasagna, but instead of pasta and sauce, you have different types of metal. After stacking these layers, the whole set is heated to a high but controlled temperature where the metals become malleable. Then the magic happens in the forge, where the layers are welded together by hammering, in a process called forge welding. The heat and pressure cause the surfaces of the different layers to bond at the atomic level, forming a single solid piece. After this first welding, the piece is then stretched, folded over itself, and forge welded again. This cycle of heating, hammering, folding, and welding is repeated over and over again. Each fold doubles the number of layers, and if you start with 10 layers and fold once, you'll have 20, and if you fold again, you'll have 40, and so on. It's common to see Damascus steel pieces with hundreds or even thousands of layers. This folding and welding create the laminated structure, which is the basis of the patterns. To create more complex patterns, the bladesmith can twist the piece or even make grooves on the surface before the next welding, manipulating the geometry of the internal layers. So, are these designs just beautiful, or do they have any function? Although the main attraction of pattern-welded Damascus steel is its beauty and the craftsmanship involved, the designs themselves are not purely aesthetic. The combination of different steels can give the final material a balance of properties that would be difficult to achieve with a single type of steel. For example, a harder steel core can be surrounded by layers of tougher steel, resulting in a blade that is both sharp and resistant to breaking. It's a form of materials engineering that aims to optimize performance. And what gives it that unique wavy appearance that we admire so much? Here lies one of the great secrets of modern Damascus steel: the acid treatment. After forging, the steel piece is sanded and polished to a mirror finish. At this point, the patterns are still not visible. The reveal happens when the piece is immersed in an acid bath, usually ferric chloride. The acid acts differently on each type of steel present in the layers. The steel with a higher content of nickel or chromium, for example, can resist acid attack more and remain lighter and shinier. On the other hand, steel with a high carbon content may react more, resulting in a slightly rougher and darker surface. This difference in reaction to the acid is what creates the contrast and makes the intricate patterns visible, giving the impression of a 3D drawing. It's as if the acid is painting the metal, revealing the art that was hidden inside. The fineness and complexity of the pattern depend on several factors, such as the number of layers, the types of steel used, the way the bladesmith manipulated the steel billet, and of course, the acid etching technique. Each piece of pattern-welded Damascus steel is therefore unique, a true work of metallurgical art. And where can we find Damascus steel today? And why is it so valued? Nowadays, Damascus steel is used in the production of high-quality handmade knives, both for culinary use and for collecting and hunting, due to its beauty and in many cases its excellent performance. It is also found in jewelry, watches, custom firearms, and even in decorative pieces. Its value comes from the complexity of the manufacturing process, which requires great skill from the bladesmith and the exclusivity of each pattern. It is the perfect union between the functionality of high-performance metal and the aesthetics of a piece of art. If you've made it this far and enjoyed the video, take the opportunity to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, leave a like and activate the notification bell. And if you find our content interesting, consider becoming a member to help us keep producing content here on the platform and be mentioned in our videos. And if you're curious to learn more about the courses we recommend, scan the QR code here on the side or click the link in the video description to access several opportunities to develop a variety of skills that will make a difference in your career. And you? Have you ever had the chance to see a piece of Damascus steel up close? Do you know anyone who forges this type of steel? Do you think the art of metallurgy has a place in the world of engineering? Share your experiences and opinions in the comments. Here on the side, there are two interesting video options that you need to watch to expand your knowledge and explore your curiosity. And if you want to support us, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and consider becoming a channel member. That's it, engineering enthusiasts. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.